Okay. So the I2C bus, what I told for you this one, for any of the communication bus you require the error bit, checksum bit. So under that I2C you have the checksum bit will be there, CRC, cyclic redundancy code checksum will be there. Why it's required, maybe you can ask a question. Even though the acknowledgement bit will be there, but you require the checksum bit to check in any case any redundant bits are there. Okay. So that is the concept behind your I2C bits. So up to this I covered for you the I2C bus. I have one master with a many slave, or the many master with a many slave will be possible. Here the duplex mode communication, the data rate will be in terms of megabits. So next we will move on to the USB. So what is USB? Next. Okay. So what is that USB mean? Universal synchronous bus or universal serial bus. So up to this point of view, you know it is like a pen drive. The USB mean it is like a pen drive, but not that much of limited. So the very first what they implemented is the USB, the transient pen drive, to version of 2. Then it will be version of 3, and then you have the version of up to this 3, then wireless USB, then protocol based, then USB device and USB host will be there. Okay. So when technologies changes, the version will be adapted, depends upon the size of that, maybe it is a 2 MB or 12 MB or 16 MB or 32 GB, like that it will be extended, depends upon the memory capability. But now what I am going to deal for you mean not a USB pen drive, I am going to deliver the USB hub to connect it to the network device driver concept. So under that this USB, before that I told for you is a I2C bus is a 2-wire bus topology. Now this USB is the tier topology. Why that word? Why that word has come tier topology mean? The diagram. Okay, very good. So what I am told for you is the tier topology mean, see here I have one root hub will be there. With this root hub I have one controller. I am connecting device 1, device 2 and then device 3, device 4 and hub. I am connecting the additional accessories also. So now this USB act as a hub. I have maximum the 6th level of the stages I can connect it this. Maximum 6th level of the stages I can connect. The 6th level is called as a 6th hierarchy. So maximum I can connect it as a 6th tier. So that's why it is comes under the tier topology. 6th tier topology. So with this 6 maximum 127 I can connect it this. One is the master node, remaining I can say as a 126 as a slave node. Or else I can take it as a many master, many slave also it is possible. So up to this suppose for your understanding I will deliver you. See here I have one root hub will be there. The next one level is that level 1, tier 1. I under that device 1, device 2 and one hub will be there. So again now see this one, I have one master hub will be there. Again the slave hub, with this I can connect it as a device 3, device 4. Like that in under the 6th tier or 6th level, many node may be act as a hub node and many node act as a slave node. But maximum restriction is that 127 with addition of root hub also. Maybe either the 10 hub also will be there, but with the restriction only 126 combination with one master is the root of 127 will be there. That's why it is called as a USB hub or USB network. Under this I am doing this communication. So this is also one type of device driver comes under network type device driver concept. Previous slide. Previous slide. Okay. Okay. Next slide. Next. Okay. So now here there may be the another category how the USB is classified. So according to the syllabus you have USB network type device driver, but general category depends upon this. It is a storage class, human interface class, or it is an extended hub or communication class. For your understanding, I will tell you that when nowadays people you are using with the laptop without anything, with that touch of your thing you are using. Suppose I am not that much well was good in, if I want to use my mouse, if I want to use my keypad, that time I am connecting my mouse external to my system. So the mouse is connected to the external to the system, so that port is called is also a USB. So under this USB you have the version A and version B will be there. So where you are connecting, even maybe it is connected to the transmitter or maybe it is connected to the printer, like that one. So that will be another part of the storage. It will be that is with the human interface. With the movement of human it will be happen. So that is maybe a mouse or keypad or touchpad, like that one. So that is also one type of USB. The another one is the storage class. What it is nowadays you people are using for transferring the data from your laptop or from your personal computer to the system for the later purpose, the pen drive or storage, that is called as a storage type. So nowadays all people are using the flash type device driver concept. The another one is the extended hub. What is the extended hub mean? In addition with this one hub, if I want to connect the sub hub, which I shown you the previously the diagram, that is called as a USB hub. And last one is a communication class. What is the communication class mean? If I want to connect my modem or if I want to connect my network card, so that also as a USB. So the communication cable is connecting is also a USB. Maybe you can check it in your USB of port of your keypad or mouse. You have that 4 pin will be there. The 4 pin will be there, data plus, data minus and VCC and ground. That will be the normal single port of USB. Maybe you can check with your USB or RS2, that is USB port or else your mouse. That will be data plus, data minus, VCC and ground. But what we are going to deliver in your device driver, it is a USB hub concept. Next slide. So now, and then depends upon the transferring of data. Depends upon the transferring of data. Again you have the 4 way of transferring of data. Control transfer, interrupt transfer, bulk transfer and isochronous transfer. Control transfer, bulk transfer and then interrupt transfer, isochronous. That's why the data will be transferring the character by character or the data will be transferring the bulk data. Depends upon the thing, there may be a communication. So this is called as how the frame structure will be defined. Okay. So the control transfer of data, I can transfer using the data from my, what is that mean? If I am adjusting my touchpad or if I am adjusting the mouse, with this control it will be moving from the screen wherever I require. So that in this way also the transferring of the data will be there. The another one is the interrupt. What is the interrupt mean? Whenever you can say another example, I am connecting as a USB hub. One is the root hub, other one is the slave hub. The slave hub node will be work out whenever I am passing the interrupt. Other than time it not work out, mean that time you are using the interrupt type data transfer. The bulk transfer, for very well know the printer. In the printer I want to transfer the entire data from a system or from a laptop to the printer, then only it will take the continuous of the printout. So that is the bulk transfer of data. In this case it is not as a USB hub. You can listen, it is not as a USB hub, it is like a USB port. In this USB port, one way you are connecting to the system or laptop, USB A version. Another way you are connecting to your printer, USB version. Whether it is a or B, the 4 pin will be there, data plus, data minus and VCC ground. And isochronous transfer. What is that isochronous transfer mean? Whether I want to transfer the data of audio or video, the streaming of data, it is also the one way of the bulk transfer, but it will be there with a synchronization of the continuous data. So that's why it is a isochronous data transfer mode. Okay. So these all are the data transfer with respect to the USB. Next. So this I told for you the USB things. Here also you have the frame structure will be there. Under the frame structure you have the token, that is the data frame structure, and then start frame structure, end frame structure and error frame structure, which I covered for your I2C. Similar, this is also the same frame structure will be there, but here you have the one frame structure. It will define starting frame, address frame, data frame, and then acknowledgement frame, then error frame and stop frame will be there. Okay, so this is the glimpse of idea for your USB hub. Next slide. So what I covered, this everything will be there. The next one, the watchdog timer. So what is that watchdog timer? Diagram point of view. What is that watchdog timer mean? Nowadays for all our systems you have the watchdog timer will be there. What is the function of watchdog timer mean? You keep on working in the system. Sometime the malfunction will be happen, or sometime due to the some virus loading, or if I am that is if I open the continuous application or continuous app, your system get overloaded. That time it get hang. So in that case the malfunction happen, the system want to restart. That time the watchdog timer keep on watching that one. Whenever the malfunction happen, it will run there and it will restart the system in a safer mode. So then that purpose only the watchdog timer will be required. So now look into this one. I have the processor will be there. I have the watchdog timer will be there. See this one, the processor will be running as such if I doesn't have any malfunction. Suppose the malfunction is happen. That time I want to retry back to the normal mode. That time the watchdog timer to reset my system. The watchdog timer want to reset the system, then again it going to restart. So then you will going to run that without losing the data. So in all our system nowadays the watchdog timer will be there. So that is the concept behind for your watchdog timer. So under the watchdog timer, again you have the 4 set of operation: starting watchdog timer, setting watchdog timer, stop watchdog timer and reframing watchdog timer. Why this is required mean, the watchdog timer whenever the system has get started, it has to set for the start where the watchdog timer. So it will be there in the ready mode only. It will be there in the ready mode only. Whenever it want to reset or to restart the system, the watchdog timer enter into the picture and it will start for the subroutine program. It will run, then again it going to the normal mode. So this is the watchdog timer concept. Next slide, next. So this all will be there. Next, kernel mode. Okay. So now the one more thing is the kernel module. One more module is the kernel module. So the kernel module, why it is required mean, in your system you have that 2 will be there. One is the user module, other one is the kernel module, and it will be there. So what is the kernel module mean? When I want to run the systems, the OS will be there. What is the OS mean? The operating system is a mediator between the software to the hardware. It will give you the request to this one. In that way it will get handshaking and it will work out. So you are giving some passing the system call from the software to the hardware. According to this the application will be work out. So some of the built-in function or basic input output setup file, it will be there in the kernel module. So when I want to run the application, so the application will be there in the hardware. So the system call will be passed on to the kernel. From the kernel it will get that application will be running this one. So for this one you require what is kernel module. What is kernel module and what is the user module will be there. So whether I want to run the user module, whether I want to run the kernel module, you have required the system call. So what is the system call mean? It is just like a query. It is just like a query between the software to the hardware, what type of module I want to communicate. Suppose now you can see this one, I have CPU, I have memory, I have device and I have application. If I want to run the application, mean I have to pass the system call, I want to run the application. Okay, so that type of system call is called as a through the device. Through the device I want to run, mean device type system call will be required. So the system call is just like a query or setup command passing from the system to wake up the software. Okay, so file type system call, device type system call, and then information system call and kernel type system call. So many system call will be there, depends upon the query, it will be work out this one. Okay, so this is the slide which I am showing there. Next one. Okay, so now next slide. Next. Okay. Ethernet வந்துச்சா? Okay, previous slide on. Previous முன்னாடி slide. Okay, so now within this one kernel module, so the kernel module mean you have the user has to write the program in the user mode, the command line prompt, then that will be communicate to the kernel module. So you want to make the file. So in this case I want to pass the parameter between the kernel to the user and user to the kernel in the command line prompt or the system prompt. Then only all my kernel module will connected to the application. So that time the parameter passing will be required for this case. So if I want to do this one, so what I am going to do mean, first I want to make a file. So before making a file of the kernel module, so I want to create a module. So what are the module I want to create mean, one module I want to create where I want to type the program. That is called as a user module. I think you very well know the command, the touch command. With this touch command I can create a file. So the another one module is want to interpret between the kernel to the user, that is the makefile command. So after the makefile command I want to link that makefile to the user file, you have to use the grep command. So the grep command and then ainsmode command and sudo command all will be used to declare to pass the parameter. So that will be called as a parameter passing. That will be called as a parameter passing. So up to this session what I covered for you mean, in this device driver module I covered I2C bus and then USB bus, and then I have covered what is watchdog timer, little bit glimpse of idea of the kernel module. So with this one, while coming for the next class, we will move on to the Ethernet driver and then CAN bus module. Okay, thank you.